Maritime Today is a program, and today we're going to be connecting with the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council as we reflect on its, regulatory framework for shippers in Nigeria. But before then, quickly, let's take you through the traffic situation that we've got. The review of Bank Anthony Way, we can tell you the traffic is looking good along the entire stretch of Anthony inwards journey, Maryland, heading towards Odoyalaro and Mobolaji Bank Anthony, respectively, on the return journey. So we have they say they have successfully streamlined the traffic. That's the queues you have in that corridor into a single lane. That's at the dispensing point at Northwest Filling Station along Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way. So that's the feed that we're getting. As a result of the ongoing construction, that's the work at Nightel Junction. Traffic is slightly busy from Country Club heading towards Sheraton, and also Nightel Junction along Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way. So that's what you find at that corridor. Traffic within the entire stretch of Kodeso, as well as Oba Akinjobi Way and Local Airport Road, likewise for Ikeja GRA, is still very, very good for now. Traffic is flowing freely on Oba Akran, talking about the link bridge, and of course the local airport link bridge. So you're still having it good there. Take note of that as you drive through that corridor. This is Maritime Today. Right now, let's bring you the latest gist in the maritime world, and Dayo Anthony will be taking us through that in less than 5 minutes.
All right, on Maritime Today, President Bola Tinubu will officially commission the upgraded West Africa Container Terminal, WACT, in Onne, River State next week Wednesday. WACT, operated by APM Terminals in Onne, River State, is Nigeria's largest and most efficient container terminal outside Lagos. An unprecedented 178.2 billion naira upgrade project commenced at WACT in 2021. Jetsu Jose, Managing Director of WACT, said the completion of the upgrade marks a significant milestone in the history of Nigeria port. He said, "We are pleased to announce the successful completion of the upgrade of our terminal project at Onne Port. That this will be a game changer for Nigeria, and we are thoroughly excited about it. The fresh investment of 178.2 billion naira further testaments to the trust and confidence that APM Terminals has in the Nigerian economy and contribute to our purpose of improving lives and while lifting up global trade." In another development, a maritime incident occurred on July 29, 2024, while a cargo vessel owned by Quest Shipping Limited destroyed a multi-billion naira grenade along the Lagos coastal at the Mayegun waterfront scheme near Eko Atlantic City. But the vessel carrying petroleum products broke its anchor and was swept away by the strong currents, causing significant damage to the coastal protection structure. Now, the structure erected by the government to prevent coastal erosion was destroyed over a distance of 18.52 kilometers. The Lagos State Commissioner for Waterfront Infrastructure Development, Yakub Ekundayo Alibioshu, confirms the incident, stating that the state has started investigating, also concerned about preserving coastline communities and will not tolerate damages to the existing infrastructure. According to him, the destroyed container cost 7 billion naira to construct. He said the state government has summoned the ship owner and to conduct further investigations to determine the cause of the incident. And finally, in the news, the international aid organization Mercy Ship will provide the world's largest private hospital ship in the port of Freetown in Sierra Leone for operations and training of local professionals over the next 10 months. In mid-August, the world's largest civilian hospital ship, the Global Mercy, was welcomed back to Freetown as part of a long-standing partnership between the international aid organization, Mercy Ships, and the government of Sierra Leone. More than 1,400 operations are planned for the 10-month aid mission. At the same time, the training of medical professionals from Sierra Leone will continue. The Global Mercy left the West African country in June for a short annual maintenance visit to Tenerife having already performed 1,979 operations for 1,728 patients and trained 145 local medical professionals on board in the previous 10 months. Mercy Ship's donor-funded medical interventions. The ship returned at the invitation of President Julius Maada, and he has asked the non-profit organization, which was founded in 1978 and is financed by donations, to extend the aid mission in order to carry out further operations and continue the training program in Sierra Leone. And that's all we have for you on Maritime News today. Back to Victor Oteri.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from port A, go enter port B, with a measure within on a need. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem where shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily. Papa, email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng. Allow us on top 0818-888-8895 or 0703-584-6468. Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting for the port of Nanir.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. All right, then, Maritime Today is a program we set for the conversation. But quickly, let's let you know that most of the areas that we're covering, Oshodi, Inwards, Anthony, connecting Bagada, are still looking good at the moment. Iyanawuru, from our live cameras, linking up with the Third Milan Bridge, is also looking good as well. We're having some slowness at Alakpere. That's if you're making that journey from the Alakpere end, trying to connect with the toll gate. Control room, keep us posted on what's happening there. The build-up on Ikorodu Road seem to have disappeared, so it's getting much better right now, most of the areas that we are covering. All right, so today on the program, we're prospecting regulatory framework for shippers in Nigeria. And joining me on the program this morning, Barrister Pius Ukeima Akuta. He's the Executive Secretary and CEO, Nigerian Shippers Council. It's nice to have you join us, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Victor. How are you?
Very good. And how are you doing too?
I'm good, and I'm happy to be with you on this program.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, this is the first time we are featuring you on the program since your appointment as the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council. So let me begin by congratulating you on this feat as the substantive ES of the Council.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Right. And drawing inference from that historic appointment, let's take a little time to reflect a bit on your vision for the council. So we've seen many brilliant professionals that have headed the Nigerian Shippers Council. They've come with their blueprint in one way or the other, blueprint of development for the agency. So kindly talk to us. What's your vision for the council?
Yeah, my vision basically is to see the council grow from strength to strength, from where I met it to also establishing my own footprint. And, by the time I'm leaving the council, I leave it better off them.
Right. All right, so let's now reflect. It's almost 10 months since you assumed the mantle of leadership of the council. Let's talk about the milestones, or perhaps let's reflect through your scorecard in terms of your milestones. What are those achievements looking like?
Yeah, thank you very much, Victor. You know, it's very difficult for one to assess himself. You know, in a situation like this and in an industry like this where I came from, although from the public sector, I came from the Ministry of Justice as a prosecutor, straight into this agency.
Right.
I also needed to understand the sector. So it's a lot of learning for me. And it's a sector that is very broad. And there's so much learning that you can do. All of that is going. And we are also trying to see what we can do in the circumstance to move sector forward.
Right. Hello?
Try to rate me and see what I have done in the last 10 months. However, I know that we've done a lot of stakeholders engagement, because stakeholders are the babies of the council.
Okay.
We pamper them. We know, because without the stakeholders, the council can do nothing. We depend so much on the stakeholders. They guide us also. In our stakeholders engagement, we interact with them to know what is going on in the sector and what they believe that we can do in order to serve them better.
Right.
So we have done a lot of touring of our zonal offices, our respective zonal offices. We have toured them. We have engaged stakeholders in so many of these stakeholders engagement, over 30 of them this year already. And in that circumstance, we have set up our blueprint of what we're going to do. In terms of the inland dry ports, which we have been promoting,
Okay.
we came in, we met the one in Futua at 80% completion. And within 3 months, we completed that, and it was launched by Mr. President.
Great.
It's now in use and is working. We have toured the other two inland dry ports, the one of Kano, one of Kaduna. We have engaged stakeholders. We have seen what is going on there. We are encouraging them, and we're working together with them to see how these infrastructures will be put in use to decongest the seaports. Our major target is to see how we can achieve port efficiency so that the investments of our stakeholders in the sector will not go down the drain, and we will be able to achieve the mandate that Mr. President has set for us to diversify the economy, looking at this non-oil sector.
Right. All right, then, considering the peculiar nature of the industry, with the various stakeholders that we have there, how have you been able to more or less micromanage the various interests within the ambit of the council as a regulator?
Yeah, the council is the regulator of the industry, the economic regulator of the industry. And we try to look at the various interests that are there. What are the interests? The interests basically all aimed at one thing, at improving the sector and ensuring that the investments we have here yield results, positive results. And we have stakeholders that are very understanding, stakeholders that have been in this sector, this industry for a long time. So they understand what are even the challenges. They are ready to work with the council to really help the council to achieve the results. All of us are gearing towards the same result. So it's not a difficult management of the stakeholders' interests. The interests are usually very...
Right. Hello? Hello, Barrister Akuta? Okay, all right, so that's network playing pranks there. We'll try and see how we reconnect with them. But we have the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council on the program, and I'm talking about Barrister Ukeima Akuta. So very shortly too, we'll allow you to join the conversation, but he's talking about the way he's been able to micromanage the various stakeholders and the diverse interests that we have for these stakeholders as an economic regulator. So we'll try and see. Hello there, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Oh, okay, good. So you were talking about the strategies that you've been using to micromanage the various interests.
Yes, so the stakeholders themselves are very cooperative. It's the role of the Nigerian Shippers Council. It's not the role to hamper the development of the sector, to improve every activity of the sector, but to bring about gain and the interest of the stakeholders. So it's not difficult, it's not a challenging situation to manage.
All right.
So that's interesting.
Okay, then let's move on. The Nigerian Shippers Council, as the port economic regulator, is saddled with the responsibilities of protecting Nigerian shippers and also promoting the development of inland dry ports. So how well have you been able to perform this role in the last 10 months?
Yes, the interest of shippers is at the core of our mandate. And doing that, we try to see how we can guide the operators in the industry towards ensuring that this interest is maintained. In the last 10 months, we have engaged shippers across the country uh, its responsibility is not just about the shippers alone, but
Right.
even the operators within the shipping sector. They have a duty also to protect them. Because without the operators in the shipping sector, even the shippers will not be able to carry out their businesses.
Hmm.
So we try to strike a balance between the two factions to see how they all engage in
Right.
to move smoothly.
Okay. All right then. Let's dwell a bit on something that happened last week. Executive Secretary, last week the Shippers Council brokered a truce on minimum standards of condition of service for workers in the shipping industry, and that was between the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria and the Shipping Agents Clearing and Forwarding Employers Association. So, how significant is that agreement to the sustenance of shipping services in Nigeria?
Yeah, this agreement is very significant in survival of the shipping services, and there's a very tight relationship that is existing between the workers and the employers in this sector.
Right.
This has been going on for so many years, thanks to also the understanding of the labor, the employers in the sector, that we have come to the understanding that this relationship must survive, and we must all work together in order to let this relationship survive. So it wasn't a difficult thing. We came together, although very challenging in terms of coming to the agreements. But at the end of the day, because we all understand the importance of this relationship, we have come to this agreement that it's time that we put minimum standards in the sector that will guide the employer in terms of fixing remunerations for their workers, and also taking care of their fringe benefits, while we continue to work to perfect things as we go on. But I believe that at this stage we have come to this level where the workers also appreciate what their bosses have done for them
Right.
in the industry, and we know that this will bring about an end to many of those agitations between workers and their employers in the sector.
Right. Now, mediating this kind of issue is not really an easy one indeed, Barrister Kuta. And I'm just wondering how you were able to achieve that. I mean, a lot of times when you have issues that relate to workers' welfare and the organization, that's always more or less like a breakdown of understanding. So how were you able to achieve that? I mean, mediating these two different, bodies and the different stakeholders here for them to come to an agreement.
Yes, like I said, these are stakeholders who are willing to continue to stay in this relationship and enjoy this relationship, because there can be no workers if you don't have employers. And that is better. If you have employers and you don't have workers, employers cannot do the work themselves. So it is very important, although very challenging. If you have worked with labor union, you understand how they also do their thing. But this is a labor union that is very refined. The leadership is very refined. So it was quite, difficult, like you said, but then the understanding was there at the background. So we were able to work through that understanding, and then we came to this conclusion. And I want to thank the workers on the one hand, and I also want to thank the employers for their understanding. So the Nigerian Shippers Council also have I have a staff group that are very, very experienced also in handling these cases. So we work together. It was a union that we all agreed from the beginning that over almost 10 years experience is not good. We have to put it to an end. And we are happy that we got to this level.
All right, then Lagos.
There was actually a lot of give and take,
It's all about compromise, right?
Yes, very well.
The Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. This morning, we're prospecting regulatory framework for shippers in Nigeria. And if you're wondering who's my guest on the program, Barrister Pius Ukeima Akuta is Executive Secretary, Nigerian Shippers Council, and he is taking us to the classroom this beautiful morning. We're going to take a short break to have a word from our partners, but when we return, we'll be finding out from the Executive Secretary. I hear that the bill seeking to amend the Nigerian Shippers Act is already at an advanced stage. Of what significance will this bill be by the time it is passed into law? We'll find out from the Executive Secretary. And then the Nigerian Shippers Council is very, very keen at hearing from shippers through the complaints portal. So how far have we gone this year in terms of resolving some of those complaints? These are many more. Plus, we'll be hearing from you too. If you want to join the conversation, feel free. That will be on 08099120777 and 09153877127. A brief break. We will be back.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from Port A, go enter Port B with a measure within on a need. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them they. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem when shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily. Papa email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng. Allow us on top 0818-888-8895 or 0703-584-6468. Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting for the port of Nanir.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline 0818-888-8895. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos. Or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from Port A, go enter Port B with a measure within on a need. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them they. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem when shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily. Papa email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng. Allow us on top 0818-888-8895 or 0703-584-6468. Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting for the port of Nanir.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime Today is the program, and I have the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council joining us on the program this morning as we do our own little bit of trying to prospect the regulatory framework. That's the regulatory framework for shippers in Nigeria. Back to the roads, we did tell you that most of the areas we're covering, especially around the Bankantoni Way, is looking good. And then we can tell you, Trailer Park, Inwards Odogunyo, it's looking good to go in and out at the moment. That's within the inner part of the Ikorodu. Most of the areas there are still looking pretty good. All right, so listeners, just hold on. I can see some of you are trying to call and speak with the executive secretary, but just hold on a bit. Let's explore this program a bit further before we connect with you. Barrister Kuta, are you back on the line? Okay, so we will be continuing that conversation, and I know you brokered that piece which we talked about before now, but let's dwell a bit on the talking about your agency now. There's a bill that's seeking to repeal the Shippers Council Act, and it is tagged as the Shipping and Port Economic Regulatory Agency Bill, and it has passed the second reading at the National Assembly as we speak right now. So how crucial is this bill if passed into law, by Mr. Akuta?
The Nigerian ports have been under reforms, and these reforms, all the critical stakeholders have agreed that these reforms have left a little gap that needed to be put together. And in this law that is pending before the National Assembly, some of these gaps have been addressed. And the issue of the port economic regulator is very, very crucial in the sector. And that is the role that the Nigerian Shippers Council has been playing over the years. And today, it becomes even more important for us to have that role played under a law that is enacted by the National Assembly, which will provide for even the little details on how the regulatory agency should manage the affairs of the sector. Now, you will recall that the Nigerian Shippers Council Act is a 1978 law, and we know that a lot of things have happened in the sector. To continue to pretend that the Nigerian Shippers Council mandate of 1978 has not changed will not augur way for this sector. A lot has changed. The Shippers Council is no longer playing the mandate that it has under that law alone. So it is important for the National Assembly to give us a brand new law that will capture all of these mandates that have been under the Shippers Council. And now, the fact that it is a port economic regulator should be backed up by a law enacted by the National Assembly.
Right.
This way, apart from looking at the economic regulatory regime, it will also look at issues around the scope and authority of the agency that will be created by that, the monitoring and compliance issues. It will look at public and private sector engagement, the private sector participation in terms of the infrastructure that is needed to develop the sector, consumer protection issues, which are issues that are already being governed in this old law, but in a more stricter senses that we take care of that. Trade facilitation, which is at the core of the activities of the new agency under that bill. Quick resolution. You know, in this sector, a lot of investment has huge, economic benefits. For us to put some of these cases in court for such a long time will be counterproductive to the economy. So we are looking at very robust conflict resolution mechanisms in this new law, so that it will help us to
so
digitization of processes in the port also, and so many other ones that I can.
All right, so it means this law is really needed from the way you've explained it right now. By the time it is really passed, it will go a long way in helping the council to meet up with its mandate. That's what it means, right?
Yes.
All right. Let's quickly talk about some of your efforts in addressing complaints of shippers, because I know one of the things that the council has been doing is helping to resolve complaints. So how many complaints has the council received, and how were you able to resolve some of these disputes between shipping companies and the shippers? Quickly.
Yeah, let me just talk about complaints that have been resolved like this year alone. From January this year to now, a lot of complaints have been resolved. Recently, I was in Kano and doing a stakeholders engagement. There are two cases that came up at that engagement. One of the young man who just went into into export business. Without consulting any lawyer, without a blueprint, without a business plan, he decided to go into export. And the very first business transaction he had, he was about to lose everything.
Wow.
The Shippers Council brought into the picture, and within 72 hours, that case was almost resolved. We brought all the parties together to see how we can resolve the matter for him to continue.
Wow.
And then another gentleman who also went into export, a first-time exporter, also export products out of the country. And there was a misunderstanding between him, the shipping agency or the shipping line, and the other buyer from the other country where the cargo was taken to. And the cargo was returned to Nigeria. Over $70,000 was about to be lost. The Shippers Council came into the picture, and within 72 hours or so, that case was resolved.
Wow.
And the shipping company is going to pay back that money. Imagine a first-time exporter losing $70,000. They will just go into shock. And at the end of the day, he may not be able to continue with his business. And that will effectively affect the economy. So we have resolved so many complaints that put together, we have saved this country a total of over $6 billion.
All right. Let's begin to take some
calls.
Let's begin to take some calls now, and of course some reaction from the listening public. There's so many of them trying to connect with us. 080-99-120-777 and 09153877127. Those are the numbers that you can connect. If you want to ask the Executive Secretary any question, feel free to do so. We have some questions here coming in on WhatsApp. This one says, "Good morning, Victor. Could you tell the guests to explain how the proposed bill aims to enhance the Nigerian Shippers Council's role as the economic regulator of the port system?" This is Ada from Sulere sending this one in. This one says, "Good morning, Traffic Radio. How can the new regulatory framework encourage more investments in Nigerian shipping industry?" Cheers. Ifeanyi is sending that one in. Another one here says, "Hello, Traffic Radio. Could you discuss the potential impacts of the proposed regulatory bill on reducing bottlenecks and delays in Nigerian ports?" You didn't put your name, by the way? Okay, all right. So these are some concerns for you, Mr. Kuta. But let's take this call. Hello there, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Mohammed Bassana, the Executive, the National Secretary of the Association of Maritime Truck Owners.
Okay, Mohammed Sani Bala, yes, go ahead.
Pardon?
I said, go ahead. What's your question?
Yeah, I don't really have a question for the Executive Secretary and CEO of Nigeria Shippers Council.
Okay.
Except to express my appreciation on his all-inclusive stakeholders engagement and also his efforts to unlock the potentials in the maritime industry to enhance freight facilitation, seamless evacuation of cargo and ease of doing business in the Nigerian ports. I will only crave the indulgence of the CEO to see how the council will come up with a regulatory framework that will protect the transport service provider, that is the way the truckers, because by the time shippers bring in the goods into the country, we are the ones to move this goods from the port through the road down to different locations across Nigeria, even down to the inland drive. But unfortunately, we are facing many challenges that has to do with activities of governmental and non-governmental exploitation bandits along the port corridor, along the ECOWAS corridor. This year in January and August, over 6 trucks have been fed by this extortion bandits.
Okay.
Also, work junction along the Apapa corridor.
Okay.
So, as a result, billions of nairas have been lost. As a result of the activities of all these extortion bandits. So in order to make this
so you want the council's intervention, right? You want the council's intervention in that regard.
There is a law against the activities of all these extortion bandits that bar anybody from standing on the road in the name of collecting tax.
Okay, all right. So
we want the enforcement of that law. We want the Shippers Council through the Office of National Security Advisor, through Inspector General of Police, the DSS, to see how they can contain the activities of these people. Imagine our...
Okay, that's okay. I'll come with Sonny. Because of time constraints, you might not be able to take all your calls and all that you have. But there's so many people trying to reach out to you. Executive Secretary, talking about that, Barrister Akuta. So what would you say to him? He's a transporter now, and he says he would like the council to intervene, especially for those bandlers and hoodlums that normally harass them on the roads. What's your take?
Yes, thank you very much. And it's also our concern because one of our major concerns in establishing those critical infrastructures in the hinterland is for the safety of cargo to move from the seaport to the hinterlands, for shippers to effectively have their goods in one place. And we are also working very strongly on that. We are working on the carriage of goods by land bill, which is also before the National Assembly.
Okay.
To tackle a lot of that and establish a liability regime for what happens to cargo between the seaport and the dry port, so that when cargo is moving, we know that it is coming from the port of departure and all the way straight on to the port of origin, which will be this hinterland inland dry port.
All right.
But we are also concerned about what happens to cargo along the way. So we are working with all the relevant agencies of government to maintain security on the roads to see that our cargoes are also secure. And we're also thinking of we have started establishing vehicle transit parks also. That's also another critical transport infrastructure that will support the movement of cargo and along the way.
All right. Because of time constraints, Barrister Akuta, there's so many messages that are coming in here for you. We might not be able to take them all. But even as we begin to wrap up the program right now, what's your message to shippers out there? And of course, for shippers that would like to connect with the council for, one kind of resolution or the other, what's your message to them this morning?
Yeah, our message has always been the same. Shippers are the reason why we're here. And today, we have a president who has decided to look at this sector of the economy as a critical sector in promoting ease of doing business, a critical sector in promoting the growth of the economy. Mr. President is looking at building the economy from this sector now. So shippers have a lot to do. And with the law which is coming, the new law which is coming,
right,
I know that the opportunities are out there. We're under the African Free Continental Trade Agreement area.
Right.
Where the entire Africa is open into one market. Shippers have a lot of opportunities. This is the time for shippers to do their best in terms of growing the economy of this country.
All right, then. So that's on a positive note. We're wrapping things up on the program this morning. Barrister Okeyima Akuta, is nice connecting with you on the program this morning.
I will be happy to be in the studio very, very soon.
Right.
Address some of these questions that have come up.
Wonderful.
That we didn't have time to check.
Wonderful. Thank
you
you so much for connecting with us. All right. He is the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council, and we've been able to prospect, the regulatory framework for shippers in Nigeria. Some of those concerns that we're not able to attend to, lots of them streaming in, we will also send that to the council for immediate resolution. We have to go. The program this morning has been produced by Temidayo Anthony. I say a big thank you to Bello Gwandu, who is the special advisor to the Executive Secretary,